So where does world culture fit into all of this? Well, one of the basic things to which I object about the way social science has in fact been expounded and taught and developed over the last 150 years is that it accepted an assumption of liberal ideology that in the modern world the characteristic, the defining characteristic of modernity was the separation of social life into three relatively autonomous spheres: a political sphere centering around the state, an economic sphere centering around the economy, and more vaguely a sort of socio-cultural sphere centering around civil society. And that these were A, factually separate, B, they ought to be, there was a moral imperative that we should keep them separate, and C, that we therefore had to study their logic separately, so that in fact the major disciplines concerning the study of the modern world have been three: economic studies, the market; political science studies, the state; and sociology studies, the civil society. That's the logic, the intellectual logic of this distinction. So where does culture fit in? I refuse the idea that culture is a separate domain from the economy and from the political processes. I think one of the major intellectual problems we have is how to evolve a language which will enable us to talk of them as integrated processes and not as separate processes. I see that as a major need of the next 10, 20, 30 years, since we all slip linguistically into that.